are discussing the proposal on the adoption of federalism in their new constitution. This is what they said.
Raj,
I don't like federalism. It would lead to reservation of seats for different caste group as in India.
ours is not a very big country. We don't need federalism.
Babulal.
I am hopeful that the Tarai area will get more autonomy if they get their own state government.
I like federalism because it will mean that that were enjoyed by the king will now be exercised by our elected representatives.
If federalism were only big country, then why did Belgium adopt it?
Hey Piyush, let me clarify. The answer lies in the question itself. Federalism works for both big and small countries.
If you were participating in this conversation, what would be your response to each of these? Which of these reflect a wrong understanding about what federalism is? What makes India a federal country? In early videos, we have seen how small countries like Sri Lanka and Belgium face so many problems in managing diversity. What about a vast country like India with so many languages, regions and religion? What are the powers?
India had emerged as an independent nation after a painful and bloody partition. Soon after independence, several princely states became part of the country. The constitution declared India as a union of states.
Union of states? Isn't that strange, Deepak? Did our constitution makers not know about federalism? Or did they wish to avoid talking about it?
Wait, although it did not use the word federation, but Indian Union is based on the principle of federalism.
Let us go back to the 7 features of federalism mentioned in the first video. Let us see if all these features apply to the provisions of the Indian Constitution.
The Constitution originally provided for a two-tier of system of government, the union government or what we call the central government, representing the Union of India and the state governments. Later, a third tier of federalism was added in the form of panchayats and municipalities. As in any federation, these different tiers enjoy separate jurisdiction.
the Constitution clearly provided a threefold distribution of legislative power between union government and the state governments.
I have union list with me.
I have state list with me.
Conference list.
Residuary list.
Union list includes subjects of national importance such as defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communications and currency. They are included in this list because we need a uniform policy on these matters throughout the country. The union government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the union list. State list contains subjects of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. The state governments alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the state list. Concurrent list includes subjects of common interest to both the union government as well as the state governments such as education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption and succession.
What about the subjects that do not fall in the three lists? Or subjects like computer software that came after the constitution was made? Residuary list.
According to our constitution, the union government has the power to legislate on these residuary subjects.
Earlier, we have noted that most federations that are formed by holding together do not give equal power to its constituent units. Thus, all states in the Indian Union do not have identical powers. Some states enjoy special status. Jammu and Kashmir had its own constitution. Many provisions of the Indian constitution were not applicable to the state without the approval of the state. Most of the provisions of the Article 370 have been removed. Similar special provisions exist for some other states of India as well, like Article 371 for Mizoram and Andhra Pradesh.
There are some of the units of the Indian Union will enjoy a very little power. These are the areas which are too small to become an independent state, but which could not be merged with any of the existing states. These areas like Chandigarh or capital city of Delhi or Lakshadweep are called union territories. These territories do not have the power of the state. The central government has special power in running these areas.
If agriculture and commerce are two state subjects, then why do we have the ministers of agriculture and commerce in the union cabinet?
Okay, let me answer your question. Although commerce and agriculture are the part of state subjects, we have the ministers of commerce and agriculture at the union because of the wider prospect of the subject regarding interstate trade. So a uniform policy has to be legislated. Secondly, agriculture and economic experts are the part of the planning commission.
This choice of power between the union government and the state governments is basic to the structure of the constitution. It is not easy to make changes to this power sharing arrangements.
The Parliament cannot on its own change this arrangement. Any change to it has to be first passed by both the houses of Parliament with at least 2/3 majority. Then it has to be ratified by the legislatures of at least half of the total states.
The judiciary plays an important role in overseeing the implementation of constitutional provisions and procedures. In case of any dispute about the division of powers, the High Courts and the Supreme Court make a decision. The union and the state governments have the power to raise resources by the line taxes in order to carry on the